Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us again. I'm assuming if you're here today, it means you enjoyed the last video, and I hope you got something very informative from this. To everyone who's been interacting with us via email, thank you so much. It just shows that our videos don't go in vain and we're actually making an impact, and that's exactly what we want to do. My name is Dr. Linda and I'm back for another segment on the insurance industry, but today we're going to specifically focus on medical aid on the day-to-day benefits. Hope this video is worthwhile for you and you also gain something out of it today. So jumping straight into day-to-day. What is day-to-day and how do we define day-to-day? Day-to-day insurance basically is where they pay for your benefits on your medical aid every time you utilize your medical aid for anything outside of hospitalization. So remember, we said that hospitalization is from the risk benefit, but your day-to-day is a part whereby they pay your benefits outside of hospital. So whenever you go get things like over-the-counter medication, GP consultations, you go see a specialist, or pathology, things like your blood test that you do outside of hospital, when you go to a provider like Lancet, then you know that they are going to be claiming from that benefit. I would just like to state quickly while we are still on that topic that whenever you actually utilize your medical aid and you receive an SMS or an email that your claim has been paid, always know which benefits they are paying from. Savings come in, or rather day-to-day come in two options. This would be your savings as well as your traditional options. So depending from scheme to scheme, some medical aids only offer you savings options and some offer you traditional options. Schemes like Discovery do not have traditional options, they only offer you medical savings. And then schemes like Bonitas, they actually have some options that offer you traditional options. What is the difference between the two? A savings option is where they give you one pool of savings in the year, depending on how many dependents or members are on the medical aid. And then a traditional option has standalone benefits. Savings, everything comes out from your savings pool. We are talking GP consultations, over-the-counter medication, optometry, basic dentistry, pathology, seeing a specialist. All those are going to be paid from your available day-to-day savings. Traditional options has standalone benefits. In other words, as you can see right next to me, it will show you that there's an amount allocated for GP consultations, an amount allocated for optometry, basic dentistry, as well as they call it a savings pool. A savings pool would be the amount that's allocating over-the-counter medication, pathology if you need any, or even just going to see a specialist to be coming out from that. The good thing about a traditional option is the fact that you can deplete your savings and then but still have an amount available for you to go consult a GP. So when you consult a GP and the GP claims from your medical aid will still pay. But when you go get over-the-counter medication, if the GP provides you with a script, then the medical aid will not pay because they will tell you that you do not have any savings available. So that's exactly how a traditional option works. This option works best for members who actually utilize their medical aid more often than not. Members who actually run out of benefits towards the end of the year, somewhere between October, November, December. A traditional option is more for you. The only reason why I say that option works for those type of members is because on the traditional option, whatever benefits that you don't utilize in the year, those benefits revert back to the scheme. Whereas in a savings option, as much as everything is paid from your savings amount, if you've got a fairly healthy family or have healthy individuals under your medical aid, or yourself, you're quite a healthy individual, a savings option is more for you. The reason for that is because whatever benefits or savings you don't use in that year roll over to next year's savings, and then at the time of termination, those savings could be transferred to your other medical aid that you decide to join, or after 4 months or so will be paid to you in cash. Now, why do they pay your savings after 4 months? As soon as they receive the request. Remember that some providers don't claim instantly for medical aid. So they have to give that allowance to see if there will be any possible claims that might come through from the medical aid or any provider, so that they can pay those before they pay you out your savings. Now, under the options that I just mentioned, I did say that there is a savings, there is a traditional, and schemes have an income-based option as well. Options whereby they look at your income in order to determine your premium. We will have an episode just specifically for income-based option on those. Continuing right along. So now what you need to understand is that, remember I told you that we're going to focus on savings, but chronic will only be paid under your day-to-day savings if they are not covered under your PMB chronic benefit. So it's very important that if you've got a condition like the 27 chronic condition, that you actually look into registering your chronic using a script not older than 3 months, so that you can use your designated service provider of your scheme, so they can actually deliver your medication to you, or you can collect it from the designated service provider and it will be paid from the chronic benefit. If you don't register your chronic with the scheme, your chronic medication, even though it's a PMB, will be paid from your savings. Most members are actually happy that they're actually receiving their medication, not being aware that it's actually being paid from their savings. And then at the time where they need to consult, now they are told that there's not enough funds. And then they come through to the scheme and then they say that the scheme now is ripping them off. Once again, I say it's very important to understand where your benefits are coming from, but you can always contact an intermediary like ourselves, and then we could assist you with such things to make sure that these things don't happen and you don't deplete your savings or your day-to-day benefits unnecessarily. Now, as we conclude, please also just bear in mind that some schemes offer what we call a threshold benefit. Now, what is a threshold benefit? That is only applicable to certain options under the savings option. So once your savings are depleted, some options allow you to have a threshold benefit where it's an additional amount which is allocated to you. That amount is dependent on the option that you choose. So once your savings are depleted, you can tap into the threshold benefit. That's like basically an additional amount that is available for you to utilize. Once again, remember I said that members who utilize the medical aid, you find that maybe you could be running out of benefits somewhere within the last 3 months of the year. So a threshold benefit would be very helpful for such things. But there's also another thing that you need to be careful of called a self-payment gap. Now, a self-payment gap, there is a difference between a savings and a threshold benefit. But between those two, there's something that they call an annual threshold. So before you can get to this annual threshold, there's a certain amount that the scheme wants you to have utilized, or rather claimed from your medical aid, in order for you to access the threshold benefit. That section there is called the self-payment gap. Now, if there is still a certain amount that you still need to utilize your medical aid in order for you to access or unlock the threshold benefit, which is the annual threshold, then you would have to pay from pocket, and that during that probation, that section is called a self-payment gap. A self-payment gap is where when you go for GP consultations or you go get over-the-counter medication or whatever you utilize your medical aid for, you pay from pocket and then you submit those receipts through to the scheme so that they can continue keeping record whether you are close to the annual threshold or not, so that you can access your threshold benefit. I hope you actually found this video on day-to-day very useful. But if you've got any comments, just write them in the comment section. Myself or the team will be ready to respond to you at any time. Remember that we are available to assist you with whatever you need. We're also available to be your intermediary as well. Our details are keep popping up on the screen. Just be in contact with us and we'll be more than happy to assist you. As we leave, in the words of Jack Ma, he did say that today is hard, tomorrow is even harder, but the day after is beautiful. A lot of people die tomorrow evening. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Linda. Till we meet again, keep well and stay in good health.